Hey, what's up guys? I'm Marshix, and today we're looking at the Borrowed Time SMG. This is a brand new solar SMG introduced in Season of the Splicer, and it gets some amazing rolls. This is a 750 RPM solar SMG, so it's going to be dealing more damage and have a little bit extra recoil. Think weapons like Cold Front, Extraordinary Rendition, or the Ikelos SMG. This weapon is unique, however, because out of the entire game, this is the only solar SMG in this archetype. So how do you get it? Well, it's actually really simple. You just need to play Gambit matches. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's the exact same loot table as things like Bottom Dollar or the Trinary system. You should expect one of those weapons to drop in about 1 out of every 2 or 3 matches. So honestly, it's not too bad. Usually I hate Gambit, but after playing a bit with the Borrowed Time, I may consider grinding out Gambit for a God roll. Speaking of God rolls, which perks do you want on this? Well, there's a lot of them, and the majority of them are all top tier. But before we get into that, if you find this video helpful, make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, please consider it. I make short and simple Destiny 2 guides just like this, and who knows, you might like more. So here are all the stats on the Borrowed Time. As you can see, it does seem to lack in a few categories. The thing that stands out most to me is the stability, being only 26. Also the range only being 43. Compare that to the Ikelos SMG, which is probably its biggest competitor, and immediately you see that every stat is worse. Don't let that discourage you though, because this thing gets some nasty rolls that make up for the lack of stats. So to start off, in the first column, we have our usual barrel perks. Like I said, for this weapon, you mostly want to focus on increasing your stability and range. Things that do a good job of this include small bore, corkscrew rifling, and arrowhead break. Now, for mouse and keyboard players, you may consider going for full bore to greatly increase range at the cost of stability and handling. Recoil is easier to control on mouse and keyboard, so that's why I brought that up. But if you're a controller player and you feel like you can handle full bore, go for it. Moving on to the second column, we want a good magazine. Now, for most players, you'll probably want to go for ricochet rounds for increased range and stability. But something I like a lot is extended mag to give a plus 30 to the magazine. And the reason I say that is because this thing rolls with overflow in the third column. Picking up a special or heavy ammo brick reloads this weapon to double its capacity. The larger the base magazine, the more overflow becomes busted. The base magazine size is 26, so before any mag extension with overflow, this thing gets 52 in the mag. That's insane, especially on this archetype. Another great option for the third column would be surplus. This increases handling, stability, and reload speed for each fully charged ability that you have. This will definitely help make up for those base stats of this thing, and it's really easy to keep procced. Just make sure you don't use all your abilities at once. I used to hate on surplus a lot, but after using it on a few weapons while playing on controller, I must say it has quickly become one of my favorite perks. It makes every weapon I've used feel very snappy, and for some weapons like Survivor's Epitaph, boosts the stability so much that it doesn't even move. So if you get one of these with surplus, don't sleep on it. Try it out and you might just be surprised. The last perk I would say to look out for in PvE would be Feeding Frenzy. This is a fan favorite reload perk. Simply get kills and reload faster. Not much else to say. Now for PvP in this slot, you could go with many options. Rangefinder or Killing Wind for increased range. Dynamic sway reduction for better stability after firing. Or, this is a new perk, Tunnel Vision. Reloading after defeating a target greatly increases target acquisition and aim down sight speed for a short duration. Now, I have yet to get any weapons to drop with this, unfortunately, but I've only heard great things about it. People say it basically aims the gun for you. I'm not sure exactly how much of that is true, but I'll definitely be trying it out if I get one. On to the final column. For PvE, we have a lot, and honestly, there's nothing I really dislike from the pool. But of course, you came here to see the best perks, so let's get into that. Frenzy is an amazing perk on primaries. Staying in combat for an extended period of time increases your damage by 15%, as well as increasing reload speed and handling. This is generally just a nice perk to have, and in PvE, this perk almost never goes away, especially on primary weapons like this. Next up would be Rampage to increase damage by 10% after getting a kill, and gets up to 33% more damage at 3 stacks. This is the classic Destiny 2 damage perk. Great to pair with things like Overflow, where you're for sure getting a lot of kills, but it's also nice to pair with just about anything I mentioned in column 3. Swashbuckler is also a great damage option. It works similarly to Rampage, except you can get a melee kill to instantly get to full stacks. This is relatively easy to proc in most activities, and just like Rampage, it's always nice to have that extra damage. I'd say those are the top perks for the majority of the game, but it can also roll with Surrounded, One for All, Demolitionist, Wellspring, Thresh, and Adrenaline Junkie, so depending on your setup, you may consider using one of those other perks. Onto PvP, once again, you can choose to go one of two ways: extra damage to increase your time to kill, or extra stability to help you hit all your shots. For extra damage, your best option will probably be Rampage. This is the easiest thing to activate and gives you a good amount of damage. For the more stability route, go for Tap the Trigger. This will increase stability and accuracy on the initial trigger pull. Pairing this with Dynamic Sway Reduction is always a fun combo. Tap the Trigger makes your gun more stable in the beginning, then as that goes away, Dynamic Sway Reduction kicks in and keeps it stable. I have that same roll on a few different weapons, and I must say they never disappoint. So quick recap. Borrowed Time drops from the end of Gambit matches. For PvE, the god rolls you want to keep an eye out for include Overflow, Surplus, or Feeding Frenzy, plus Rampage or Swashbuckler. For PvP, I'd go with Dynamic Sway Reduction plus Tap the Trigger for a very reliable weapon, or Rangefinder, Surplus, or Tunnel Vision plus Rampage for a well-rounded weapon that has a decent range and a good time to kill. Are you going to be farming for Borrowed Time? Which roles are you most excited for? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please show your support by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more Destiny 2 guides in the future. I want to thank you all for watching this far. I'm Marshix, and I'll see you next time.